Hey guys, we're going to be changing out the front sway bar links on this 2011 Honda Odyssey. So first thing that we're going to do, remove the wheel, undo the 5 22 millimeter wheel nuts, take your wheel cover off if you got one of those, take your wheel off. Obviously you got to jack the vehicle up first, and that's then going to give us access to our sway bar link. That's this guy right here. And we basically just need to undo 2 fasteners. There's 2 nuts that secure that. One end's attached to the strut, the other end down in the sway bar link that's near the control arm at the bottom. So one nut is going to be faced away from you, which is the bottom one, and then one nut is faced towards you at the top. So if you take a close look, I'm going to get these cleaned up because they're really rusty, but the center, there should be like a hex key where we can put like an Allen key basically in there to keep the stud from spinning. Most of you guys out there, I recommend you should probably like cut them off if they're really, really rusty. First, try to get the nuts off. But most of the time, what'll happen is when you go to loosen the nut, it's just gonna spin the stud and you won't be able to get the nut off and it'll be stuck on there. So sway bar links are one of the most challenging things to change because of that. And a lot of guys, including myself, just resort to either Sawzall, cut-off disc, or torches if you have the luxury of using torches. So what I'm going to do is just try to clean these up the best that we can, and we're going to just try to take them off without cutting them or anything, just for you guys to see. We are going to be replacing these with TTX brand Mevotech heavy-duty sway bar links. These bad boys are top of the line. They're greasable, so they're a serviceable joint. They have super awesome seals. I think they're like double sealed if I'm not mistaken. They also come with new nuts that have the nylock insert in them that acts as a thread locker. And you also get a tool as well to not only install the nut, but also to hold on to the stud to keep the stud from spinning. You can see there's 2 little notches in there, and that's just going to aid in the installation of the nut so that it goes on nicely. All right, guys, so there's a bunch of variables with these sway bar links. I believe these ones have been replaced before and that they're not OEM, but most of the sway bar links are going to be the same sort of construction. Most of them should have a center cutout for an Allen key or a hex key if you want to call it. This one in particular houses a 6 millimeter sized Allen key, and usually that's the size they are, either 5 or 6. This nut I can tell already has the nylon thread locker style nut, so heat is going to be your best friend to get that off if you're going to try to take that nut off without cutting the sway bar link all apart. So you can either use a small torch like this that just runs on butane, or you can get one of those bigger ones, blue bottle of MAP gas. And basically what I'm going to try to do here is just put some heat into this to get this nylon to heat up and melt. You can see I've cleaned the threads up the best that I can with a wire wheel, and I've also just used a small thread chaser kit that we got off of Temu, and it just works wonders. The thread pitch on this particular sway bar link, and it may be the same as OEM, is going to be an M12 by 1.25 thread pitch. So it's a fairly fine thread, metric. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of heat into this thing. And then what I'm gonna try to do is just hit it with the impact gun right off the get-go to see if I can get this thing to just spin right off. I'll hit it with a little bit of oil too before we give it. And just anything to help that nut come off. But I have a feeling the stud's probably going to spin. Okay, we hit it with the penetrating oil. Let's see if this comes off. Just as I thought, it's just spinning the ball and stud on the other side. It is a little bit loose now. We can try to go back and forth a bunch of times. Another thing we can try to do is use needle nose vice grips and come in behind the sway bar link to try to hold the stud to keep it from spinning. But another thing we can do, there's literally like 500 ways you can do this. We need to keep the stud from spinning. So What I'm gonna try next is using a wrench or a ratchet wrench and putting that on, and then using this hex key to keep the stud from spinning. There is a special tool called a pass-through socket. Come to the toolbox, I'll show you. This set in particular is made by Gear Wrench, but it comes with this style of ratchet, and then you pick whichever socket you want, and it clips into here, and there's a pass-through, and that's so that the hex key can go inside of it, and you can spin those nuts off. I might actually just try this. All right, so we put this on here. Oh, I might need an extension. So we get that on there. Then we gotta put this in. All right, that's working. Sometimes you got to go back and forth to sort of clean the threads and work it as you go. Otherwise it gets too tight, and the center of that stud that you're holding onto with the hex key, it'll round out, and then you're really screwed. But I can feel it coming. The key here is to really clean the threads the best that you can. That's going to give you your best chance. If you have really rusty threads and you don't clean them, the threads are going to get all jammed up. That nut's going to get tight, and you'll strip out the center of this thing, and that's it. You're going to be forced to cut it off. Okay, so we've pretty much got that now. There's the nut. Take this off. And then now we've got the other side to deal with. So the bottom one's going to be even more difficult because it's in such an awkward place. The control arm's right up against it, and it's just not very nice to deal with. So we can try to use just a regular wrench. That's what I'm going to try to do. I'll use a wrench, and I'm going to try the needle nose vice grips just to show you some more options. All right, so there's a open end section in the needle nose vice grips, and I basically just wedge it in there. Hopefully we can keep that stud from spinning. I've put some heat into this. And this one is like super, super tight. Yeah, we might have to cut this one off. That's how the pros do it, but not everybody has access to oxygen acetylene. And yeah, the other easiest thing really is a hacksaw, or Sawzall, or you could use a cutoff disc. You just have to be really careful you're not hacking into the sway bar link or the sway bar itself. So that's a bunch of ways to get it off. But anyhow, we're just going to clean up these mating surfaces and we'll get ready to put the new link in. The original nuts that I took off of these sway bar links were 17 millimeter, and I'm guessing that's probably the factory original size as well. These ones on the TTX unit are actually bigger. They're an 18 millimeter. So what I'm going to do, the top one's easily accessible. We're going to run it down with the impact gun just until it gets snug. We're going to use the supplied wrench to keep that stud from spinning. So right in the back, we're going to see here which size we need. Looks like, I can't really see. I'm just going to guess. All right, so it's also 18. You can see here it says 16/18. So we're just going to try to run this down and see. All right, just till it hits, and then we're going to torque that down. It's actually 58 foot-pounds. So now I'm gonna do the bottom one. However, you can't get the impact gun in. What you could do if you really wanted to is undo both the driver's and passenger side upper nuts. And then what that's gonna allow you to do is actually move and rotate the sway bar up, which might allow you to get in with some sort of air tool to the bottom one. You'll be able to swing that sway bar up to give you more room. And then you'd have to install both sway bar link bottoms and then swing the sway bar back down to get the links to line up to the shocks. But we're just gonna do them one side at a time here. So now I'm gonna use a wrench on the bottom one, and once again, try to hold that stud and keep it from spinning with the supplied wrench. You could also use vice grips or something like that to keep it from spinning as well. All right, let's torque those down. All right, and then all we got to do is do the bottom one, which I'm gonna have to change out for a different attachment. All right, we just use these crow's feet or a line wrench with the 3/8 attachment on there. We got those from Temu as well. And yeah, now that those are tightened down, the last thing we got to do is just pump these full of grease. We've got the grease fittings installed. Cameraman got that all set up for us. And let's pump them full of grease. All right, so you can see we got a little bit of grease that's coming out there now. I only really gave it like 2 or 3 pumps. And we're gonna do the same thing over here. That's the nice thing about these TTX units. They offer all sorts of replacement suspension pieces and steering pieces. They're super heavy duty and they're all serviceable, which is great. So they should last the lifetime of the vehicle. All right, so on the passenger side, I pre-greased these only because where the fittings pointed to down here, the axle's right in the way, so you're not actually going to be able to physically install the grease gun, unfortunately. So what we did was actually installed a different grease fitting that was on a 45-degree angle just for this bottom one. And that's the only one that's kind of in a dumb location. If they were both offset, so then the grease fittings are pointed away the other way, then it would have been fine, but obviously they don't make a left and a right. They're just swappable from side to side. So all right, the last thing you got to do once you get both sides done, or whatever side you're doing, just throw the wheel on. You're just going to torque down the wheel nuts to 100 foot-pounds, and you're going to do that in a 5-star pattern with 2 passes. And then I recommend retorquing the wheel nuts after you drive it for about 60 miles or 100 kilometers, whichever comes first. And then yeah, if you got any questions, throw them down in the comment section below. And hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it helped you. And good luck on your journey. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.